Are you convinced that they're back on track after this little streak here?
I think they're back on track. I mean, the Mets have come back down to earth. They're now 3.5 games out of first, second place in the NL East. The pitching is kind of what we thought it was going to be.
The starting
pitching, right? With Fister and Gio kind of getting on track in their last start. We'll see if it lasts. But I think there's still reason to worry. I mean, Yunel Escobar, the hero last night, and in the night of the DC trifecta.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper's an OBP machine, but Worth really struggling. I mean, Ryan Zimmerman's driving in runs, but also struggling at the plate. I don't think for the season, especially with Anthony Rendon now out potentially, who knows, months, you can't rely on guys like Yunel Escobar and Dan Uggla and Danny Espinosa night to night to carry that offense.
Snides, is this the team we thought they were going to be right now?
Or? I mean, they're obviously playing better and winning games, but like you don't want to be winning 1-0 games, really. Like maybe in the playoffs you're happy with 1-0 games, but I mean that's not a recipe for long-term success. To say, oh yeah, we're just going to shut them out and all we need to do is get one run. I mean, obviously they have a great pitching staff. The bullpen with a few more questions, but it just doesn't seem like a great long-term answer. And even yesterday, the bullpen coughed up a couple of late runs there and. Great Ian Desmond home run, but I mean, it just feels like they're still kind of patching things together a little bit. And this Rendon thing, I mean, who knows? He was their best player last year. Now we're talking about like June, and is he going to be right when he gets back? Obviously, Worth wasn't totally right when he came back. Span has had his ups and downs. So, I mean, the Rendon thing is a huge question mark for me. But, all that being said, now they're again in a position where it's kind of hard to imagine them not making the playoffs.
Well, Neil, it's doom and gloom early in the year now. Everyone's happy. Is it somewhere in between, or are they really back going in the right direction right now?
They're on pace to win 90 games. That's what they're projected to win. The Mets are projected to win 84. So, I mean, they're still projected to win the division. I think that, similar to what Dan was saying in terms of these 1-0 games, they need Bryce Harper to actually put the ball in play. I mean, yeah, he's been getting a ton of walks, but he's striking out a bunch too. And I think half of his plate appearances are either a strikeout or a walk. So they need his bat to get hot and start driving in some runs. It seems like they're leaving a lot of runners on base. It just doesn't seem like they're getting any of the momentum. And we knew the pitching was going to be good, but I think once the bats come around, even with Rendon healthy or not, I still think the bats probably have some upside, and they'll be fine. It's still early.
Well, Stans, you mentioned Rendon, but the bullpen. Your thoughts on is that going to be sustainable with guys like Roark closing games? Is that how it's going to work until Stammen and Jansen come up?
I mean, the Roark thing was kind of weird because they not his expected role exactly in storing a pitch 3 out of 4 days, but I would like to see Roark get more of those kind of key appearances. Obviously he's one of the best pitchers that they've got on this team, and I don't see any reason that you want to use him in like mop-up duty or weird like long relief. Like he's got a great arm. See if he can work as like a 7th, 8th, 9th inning guy rather than wasting him in middle innings on lost games. So. I think the Roark thing was cool, and I'd like to see more of that.
Apart from Rendon not being here for a while, is the bullpen still the biggest issue with this team, or is there something offensively the other players need to get going?
I think the bullpen is an issue. I think defensively, we've talked about the offense, we've talked about the pitching, but defensively, even beyond Ian Desmond, he switched gloves and he's playing a little bit better in the field. But Jason Worth is getting to be a liability in left field. I mean,
which is not his history,
right?
I mean, he's been a good fielder.
Switching over from right, but even his last couple of years in right, I mean, he's not going to get to a lot of. You can't expect him to get to a lot of balls in the gap. But last night, just dropping a routine line drive at him that led to a run early, and they put up a stat that broke the Nationals' longest streak of the season for errorless games at 4, which is not good. I mean, this was a team last year that was pretty good defensively, and if you have the pitching and defense, you can survive the cold spells with the bats. And so far for the Nats, everything's been going wrong until recently.
Well, Stans, how much are the errors a concern right now, do you think? Or is that something they're just going to figure out?
I mean, Desmond has had all these bad Aprils consistently, so I'm not worried about him as much. But I do think Worth is a problem. I do think that's a concern.